Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Believe it or not, I think what we're wrestling with in that area is selfishness. And I say selfishness because
But it doesn't do anything for you, but try taking it away and watch what happens to the relationship. Because
to answer the first question, I don't think I guard my emotions enough because my emotions don't control me. I think it's more I don't hold my personal emotions high enough. And so as a result, I'll hurt myself to make sure everyone else is better. I think what he's saying is I don't guard my emotions, not in the sense that my emotions control me, but in the sense that I'm willing to sacrifice my emotional well-being for others to make sure that they're okay. So even at the cost of like me being hurt, and as long as somebody else that I'm serving, I feel I'm serving is better, doing better is okay, I'm good.
I'm wondering if, though, in your mind too, Greg, just think about that, if that wouldn't be somewhat dangerous, because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, you almost don't get to be your authentic self because you're always leaving yourself to make sure that somebody else is okay while neglecting your own emotional health, because there is an emotional health component to our lives. And so what do you think about that? Great. I'm wondering.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Believe it or not, I think what we're wrestling with in that area is selfishness. And I say selfishness because you can't give something you don't have. Right? So if you can't, like, if you're depleted, right? If you're feeling empty, if and I'm not saying that you give and then you become empty as a result of giving. I'm saying you're just empty all the time. Your tank's on E every day, right? You don't feel replenished. You're not around people who are pouring into you. So as a result, you're being used and pulled in every direction. You don't have a resource to come to that is going to refill your tank every day. Or again, when you give some and you don't have anything to replenish you back, you don't have anything to give. You have nothing to give. So what that is initially saying, almost dangerously borderline, is like almost in the sense of I need this. I need you to need me. I feel as if I'm always needed, and I like that, but I just don't have anything to give. So you're almost taking the place of somebody else who could actually give an answer, give direction, give guidance to that individual, because you feel like this is mine. This is the person that I want to pour into. I know I can handle it. I know I can give. I know I have something to give. I know I have something to say because what I say matters and is of most important and all of that good stuff. But like when you really analyze where you are, you don't have anything to give. I think that can be selfish in a lot of
No,
ways and dangerous.
it was a great point. I want to counter that point by saying this. If you're always showing up for other people, who's showing up for you?
Right.
I'm just saying, where do you replenish? Who pours back into you at that same level? Because we need that same human pouring back into us. We need the same thing. That's why those people are pulling on you. And that's why you feel led to continue to pour into them, because they need that. And so God assigns people to our life. So where do you get that from? See, this is my thing for people who say, well, I just show up for other people and I go from there. Here's the thing. What are you giving them? Because if you never fill your own tank in your car, imagine I just drove everybody around that called me and I never stopped for gas. What are you giving them? Fumes. You're just giving them what's left. Most of the time, they're just getting what's left over. They're not getting the authentic you. And so that's a concern for me, because I know there are a lot of people who feel like they can live off of that. And we resign ourselves to getting along with other people by always being there emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, even stuff like that. You know, you say, hey man, let's go to lunch. And this person never opens their wallet to pull out their card to pay for the lunch or tell you, hey, I got it this time. They invite you to lunch and expect you to pay. There's a tremendous imbalance there. And people believe, well, you know, we're friends. They're just a tightwad or so on and so forth. No, I think it's deeper than that, to be honest with you. That's my 2 cents on that. But I love what you have to say about that. I do believe that there is a neediness there. I think it's a misplaced neediness. Absolutely, positively. A need to belong, a need to be accepted by all people at all times. And there's a fear also associated with that of rejection. There's a fear of being rejected by people. And so you do all of this stuff for these people and it's never reciprocated. And you're thinking that you're doing okay, but deep down inside, you're wondering why they don't return that same kindness to you, that same love, that same level of respect to you.
What's going on, party people? Listen, I'm just popping in real quick to let you know that I've got a new podcast I'm whipping up in the kitchen called The Bridge Podcast. I'm part of it with co-host Pastor Demetrius Colbert, who you've seen on this channel quite a few times. And we're here having real, raw, and relevant conversations.
We are going to say what you say. So sometimes it might be a little PG-13 because we're going to say what you say, like clapping cheeks, like they turned me on to that. Clapping cheeks. I was like, what?
Yeah. They're talking loud of their masturbation experiences, their experiences, what they're currently doing when they get home at night, who's doing what, how many times, how did it feel, sore, all that good stuff. I mean, they're getting in it.
Now, before you get to thinking, no, you don't gotta be a Christian to check out this podcast, because at the end of the day, that we are all humans having life experiences, have questions, serious topics, serious concerns that we all would love to be helped with and get navigation with. And so this is where we come in, looking to give some insight from my perspective and his, that we can come together, share some wisdom that I think will be beneficial for you and the journey of life you're on.
The whole point of the bridge, again, is for you to be able to get on it and not criticize the bridge, but to use the bridge and say, I need to walk across on this side and hear what needs to be said. And I need to walk across on that side and hear what needs to be said.
So don't forget to check us out. Link is in the description, and I can't wait to see you there.
I like those thoughts, and I added a couple more, man, because often if you're on social media long enough, if you scroll long enough, you'll find someone who will share something along these lines when they're asked about relationships. Hey, why don't you ever feel that a relationship works out for you? And they might respond with something like this. I've just accepted that I'm that person that is supposed to be crushed at the expense of allowing that other person who I came in contact with to get better. I'm here to better that person. I'm here to help that person increase. I'm here to do all that at the expense of getting crushed. I'm never going to find what I want. I'm just that person that's used to help them get better. If you've heard something like that and that's ringing in your ears to some degree, that's a coping mechanism of somewhere, somehow. That's a coping mechanism that helps you either avoid dealing with the heartbreak. But I think we're in a culture that just doesn't give you room to breathe and grieve and allow you to feel what you feel, because they always have something to say. There's always something said about your situation that people feel just makes either complete sense and it doesn't make sense, or it's just something that helps you feel better. It's not something that actually helps you deal with the situation head on, even to the point of just feeling your emotions and just riding that out and actually acknowledging what you feel. So I say that's a coping mechanism for a lot of different reasons. And I don't know, it could be a plethora of them. If you're always finding yourself giving to somebody and you have nothing in return, not necessarily from that person, you just don't have a resource to be filled up to continuously show up for somebody else, but you continuously find yourself showing up for them even in a depleted state and you have nothing to give. Could it be possible?
Yeah.
Could it be possible that you are wrapping your life more around their lives and no longer living in your reality? What I mean by that is that you find yourself escaping your life. You find yourself escaping your thoughts. You find yourself escaping things that you're not comfortable sitting with in your lonesome to deal with. So as a response, you're trying to get involved in everybody else's stuff, and you're helping yourself by interjecting yourself into their situations. And then you find a way to get offended when they don't come to you. The reason I say this is because I feel as if I've been there. I've said this many times. I used to be that person that always felt I had an answer for everything. God knows, in their relationship, to the point where I was quietly offended. So I didn't voice my offense. I didn't voice my frustration, but I was quietly offended when friends of mine who were going through something relationally didn't come to me because I felt I had something to give. And there were times where I would just interject my thoughts into their space. It wasn't to say that I was trying to get away from my reality. In my sense, maybe that could be for somebody else. What I did though, was there was something they were experiencing that I wasn't. There was something that they were doing and they were involved in that I wasn't in a space to deal with. Okay. If we're speaking specifically on dating, I grew up in a household where I wasn't allowed to date. So I used to put myself in these positions where I wanted to kind of live out what they were doing by interjecting myself and trying to be as involved as I could. That never worked. It never really fulfilled what I was looking for. And there was always some kind of drama going on. There's a possibility it could be really selfish in the sense of a few things. You're trying to interject yourself into their situations. You're trying to live out their lives because you feel it's something you're missing. It's selfish in the sense that, hey, you feel you can give something, but you really can't. And so what's crazy is anything you give that you don't have, you're actually creating more damage. You're not helping, right? You're not being of true service. And so I feel like that could be potential. Right. And so I would encourage you, if any of that resonates, or if you sit and think long enough of areas where, okay, why do I keep giving to this person that's not really replenishing and I'm just always depleted? They're always draining me. They're takers. They're not givers. Like, you realize how two people who give to each other in a relationship is the most beneficial relationship because they're putting each other first. And when you put each other first, you're never going to be without. When you don't put each other first and one puts another person first, but that other person puts themselves first, it never works. There's never going to be a reciprocation. There's never going to be an area where they're going to be able to be of service to you. So you have to ask yourself, why do I keep going to these people? And if I can't really put my finger on it, I think you might just want to analyze that there might just be some selfishness there. That would be my thought. And then everything PD added as well, right? Like, you can't give something you don't have. And so whatever you're giving, it's probably not beneficial, but you continuously volunteer yourself to give it. Why is that? Just ask yourself that. That's what I would think.
I love what you just said, though. You're giving something that's just not beneficial. Now the other person sees it and they'll use it, but it doesn't do anything for you. But try taking it away and watch what happens to the relationship. Because a lot of their relationship is built on your yes. And as long as you're saying yes, then it's beneficial to them, but it won't benefit you because it won't be reciprocated back to you. Let me tell you something. You and I want to tell you this. I preached a sermon series years ago called Fighting the Design. I'm going to do some of that on here in the coming weeks. You and I are designed to have that human contact, to have that love, to have those things reciprocated for us. God built us like that. So we're designed for that. To ignore it is to put yourself in this space of, again, acting like you're okay when you're not. It's kind of like learning how to live around something that just isn't beneficial for you. It's not healthy to always be the giver. It's great to be a giver. I consider myself a giver. But I also have balance. So I have people who pour back into me on a regular basis, while I have the ability to pour out to other people. So that's significant.
Hey, listen, if you stuck to the end of this from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. If you want to hear more of these kinds of conversations in this format, please check the description below. There you will find a link to sign up for a Maverick membership. This is where the Truth Project sessions go down every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, where you can be a part of conversations just like the one I shared in this video. Your worldview is welcome, no matter what worldview you come from, and we're all there pursuing one goal: truth. Check the link in the description, sign up, 3 days for free. After that, it's $9.99 a month, but you'll get your money's worth and then some. I'll see you over there, and until next time, be easy and be breezy, my friend. Peace.